So I know you're super into AI and how these systems are getting so good at giving us like really accurate information.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing how they can pull up all sorts of relevant answers. And the key to all of that is something called Retrieval-Augmented Generation.
Yeah, RAG.
RAG. Exactly.
Got it.
It's like giving AI, what, a memory boost.
It is. It's like, imagine taking the power of, something like ChatGPT, those big language models,
Right.
and combining those with like a massive, super organized database.
Oh, wow.
Like having a research assistant that's, I don't know, superhuman.
Okay, so RAG is kind of a big deal then.
It's a pretty big deal.
I mean, from what you're describing.
It's really cool.
Yeah, can we break down like what exactly it is in simple terms?
Sure. Our RAG, it's a framework, basically.
Okay.
It brings together two main things.
Yeah.
You've got your retrieval system, which is kind of like a super specialized search engine for data.
Okay.
And then you've got the generative AI model, which is the part that actually like creates that human-like text. So the retrieval system, it goes out and digs up the most relevant information from a database.
Mm-hmm.
And then the generative AI uses that information to give you a response that sounds, natural.
So it's not like making stuff up, it's actually using real data.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's pulling from real information.
Got it.
Here's a good analogy. Imagine you're writing a report on, I don't know, some big historical event.
Okay.
The first thing you do is you go to the library.
Right. Do some research.
You gather all these books, documents, you name it. That's your retrieval system in action.
Okay.
Then you take all that research and you use your writing skills to turn it into, a story,
Right. Right.
a narrative that people actually want to read.
Make it interesting.
That's your generative AI.
I see. So it's putting those two pieces together.
It's combining the research with the storytelling.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So generative AI, it's good at writing, obviously, but it needs RAG to give it that extra boost of up-to-date specific knowledge.
It needs that fuel.
It needs the fuel. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. So it's not just relying on like whatever it learned, way back when.
No, got to stay fresh.
Got to keep it updated.
Exactly.
All right. So we understand what RG is, but how does it actually work? Like if I'm using it, what's happening behind the scenes?
Okay. So let's say you're curious about the side effects of, I don't know, some medication you're taking.
Okay.
You ask your AI assistant, what are the side effects of this medication?
Okay.
That's your query input.
Okay.
Now, what happens next is the AI's retrieval system, it jumps into action.
Mm-hmm.
It searches a reliable medical database. Could be PubMed, could be something else.
Right.
And it looks for all the information it can find on that specific medication.
So it's not just going off of like, general knowledge.
No, it's going straight to the source.
It's going out to find that new information.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
It's getting the latest updates.
Got it.
Then, once it's got all that information, it hands it off to the generative AI model,
Okay.
which then takes all that raw data, all those medical terms,
Mm.
and it crafts a clear, understandable answer for you.
Oh, okay.
It explains those side effects in plain English.
That makes sense.
So the response you're getting, it's not just based on general knowledge.
Right. It's tailored.
It's grounded in specific data about that medication.
That feels a lot more trustworthy, right?
It should.
Especially with something like medicine where you really want to know what you're getting into.
Absolutely. That's one of the best things about RAG.
Yeah.
It gives you those reliable answers.
It takes away some of the guesswork.
Exactly, because it's using that specific information.
Okay, so we talked about medicine, but where else is R making a difference?
Oh, man. So many places.
Really?
Think about the last time you had to deal with a customer service chatbot.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Frustrating. Right.
It's like talking to a wall sometimes.
It's the worst.
You feel like they're not even reading what you're saying.
Exactly.
Just spitting out the same canned responses.
But now imagine if that chatbot was powered by RAG.
Okay, that's interesting.
So let's say you're on Amazon and you want to know where your refund is.
Okay.
You type in, where's my refund?
Right.
And instead of getting some generic response.
People are working on it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Uh-huh.
The chatbot uses RAG.
Okay.
It goes into Amazon's database, pulls up your order details.
Oh, wow.
It finds your refund status, maybe even tells you exactly when you can expect that money to hit your account.
Okay, now that would be amazing.
Right.
No more of those, like, endless loops of pre-programmed responses.
Not more frustration.
That's what I'm talking about.
It would completely change how we think about customer service.
It would be a game changer.
And this is just the beginning.
Really?
Think about the impact of RAG in healthcare. Like, a patient asks an AI assistant,
Why?
what's a safe dosage of this medication for children?
Right.
Instead of relying on some general knowledge,
Uh-huh.
the AI could use RAG.
Yeah.
Go right to a trusted medical source, pull up the most current research, dosage guidelines.
So it's always giving you the most accurate and up-to-date information.
Exactly, yeah.
Especially important when you're talking about kids and medication.
You don't want to mess around with that?
No, absolutely not.
So RAG, it brings that extra level of reliability.
It's like having a medical expert in your pocket.
That's a great way to put it.
So it's not just about customer service and healthcare then.
It goes way beyond that.
It sounds like it has the potential to make all kinds of information more accessible, more reliable.
It does. The possibilities are endless, really.
Okay, so what about something like legal research, where accuracy is super important? Can RAG help there too?
Oh, absolutely. It can make legal research so much more efficient.
How so?
Instead of spending hours and hours, going through case files and legal documents.
Yeah, it's a lot of paperwork.
It is. A lawyer could ask an AI, let's say, what are the key precedents for intellectual property law in the last 5 years? And boom, the AI could just pull up all the relevant case summaries, court rulings,
Wow.
everything they need.
So it's not replacing the lawyer's expertise.
No, not at all.
But it's definitely saving them a lot of time.
It's like a superpowered research assistant.
Yeah, exactly.
It frees up their time so they can focus on the bigger picture.
Makes sense.
Here's another example.
Yeah.
Imagine you're a new employee at a huge company,
Okay.
and you need to file an expense report.
Oh, the joys of corporate life.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of digging through the company intranet or emailing HR a million times,
Right.
you could just ask an AI.
Oh, interesting.
And with RAG, it could instantly access the company's, internal knowledge base
Wow.
and tell you exactly how to file that expense report step by step.
So it's like having a personal assistant who knows everything about the company's policies.
That's exactly what it's like.
That would be super helpful.
It cuts out all the confusion, all the wasted time.
Streamlines the whole process.
And it's not just for work. Think about education. A student struggling with photosynthesis
Right.
may ask their AI tutor. RGA kicks in, pulls up the right info from textbooks, scientific articles, you name it.
Wow.
And it even tailors the explanation to the student's grade level.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like personalized learning powered by AI.
So we've got customer service, healthcare, legal research, the workplace, even education. What are some of the, big picture benefits of using RAG in all these areas?
Well, one of the biggest benefits is accuracy, right?
Makes sense.
RGate cuts down on the risk of AI making things up because it's basing its answers on real data.
Yeah.
And because it's pulling from that specific information, it can give you answers that are tailored to your exact situation.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's not just giving you generic advice, it's giving you something that's actually relevant to you.
So it's more than just a system that knows a bunch of general facts.
Oh, way more.
It's actually able to apply those facts to a specific situation.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's pretty powerful.
it is.
Okay, so what else?
Well, RAG is incredibly scalable.
Okay.
It can handle huge amounts of data, respond in real time. It's perfect for situations where you need answers quickly.
Speed and efficiency.
Exactly. And the best part is it's not limited to any one field.
Oh, interesting.
We're seeing its potential unfold across industries.
So it's really versatile.
It really is.
Okay, so we've covered the basics of RAG, but, it can't all be smooth sailing, right? There's got to be some challenges involved in using this tech.
You're right. There are definitely challenges. Of course, yeah, no technology is perfect.
Right.
There are always things to consider.
So what are some of the things that, need to be worked out with RAG?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is data quality.
Okay, so even though RAG is pulling from a database, that doesn't automatically mean the information is accurate.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head.
Right.
The data itself, how accurate it is, how relevant, how well it's organized, that's crucial for RGEC to actually work.
So it's not just about having a ton of data. It's about having the right data and making sure it's all, in order.
It's about quality over quantity, for sure.
Okay.
Organizations really need to take a close look at their data infrastructure.
So before they even think about RAG.
Yeah, before they even start, they need to ask themselves, do we have good data sources? Is the data organized in a way that the AI can actually use?
So it's not something you just jump into.
There's definitely some prep work involved.
Got it. So what else should people be aware of?
Well, another big one is latency.
Latency.
Basically, it's the time it takes for RAG to go out, fetch that data, and then process it.
So speed is a factor.
It can be, yeah. Fetching and processing all that information, it takes time.
Uh-huh.
And that can lead to delays in getting your answer, which can be frustrating, especially if you're looking for something, right away.
Right. So it's kind of a balancing act between speed and accuracy then.
It is kind of a trade-off.
You want it to be fast, but you also want to make sure the information's good.
Exactly. You got it.
So are people working on that, like trying to speed things up?
Oh, absolutely. Researchers are constantly working on ways to optimize these retrieval systems.
Okay.
Make them faster, more efficient, without sacrificing accuracy.
So we can expect those systems to get even faster in the future.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's good to know.
It's really exciting to think about, how much faster and more powerful these systems are going to get.
Speaking of the future, where do you see ARG going in the next few years?
Oh, man, the possibilities are, endless.
Really?
One area that has a lot of potential is real-time financial analysis.
Okay, so what would that look like?
Imagine an AI system that can analyze, market trends, news events, economic data.
All in real time.
Yeah, all in real time.
Yeah.
It could give investors, up-to-the-minute insights.
That would be pretty amazing.
It would completely revolutionize how investment decisions are made.
It sounds like it could give investors a real edge.
Oh, absolutely. They'd have access to information that no one else has.
Wow.
And it's not just about finance. ARGI has the potential to change personalized marketing, too.
Oh, in what way?
Imagine an AI that can give you personalized recommendations based on, your past purchases, your browsing history, even your social media activity.
So it's not just showing me, generic ads.
No, it's showing you things that you're actually interested in.
Stuff that's tailored to me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like having a personal shopper who knows your taste better than you do.
That would be pretty cool.
Right.
Okay, so we've talked about how RAG can be used in customer service, healthcare, even legal research. Are there any other areas where you see it having a big impact?
Oh, tons. One area that I think is particularly exciting is autonomous systems.
Autonomous systems.
Like self-driving cars, for example.
Oh, okay.
Imagine a self-driving car that can use our gig to navigate, really complex environments.
How would it do that?
It could access real-time traffic data, weather reports, even social media feeds to see what's happening on the roads.
So it's constantly getting updates about its surroundings.
Exactly.
That's pretty wild.
It's like having a co-pilot that's always looking ahead, anticipating potential problems.
So it's not just reacting to what's happening, it's actually predicting what might happen.
Yeah, and that could make our roads so much safer.
It could prevent accidents.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
And as these retrieval systems get even smarter, even faster, I think we're going to see some really creative applications emerge.
Okay, you mentioned something earlier that I wanted to circle back to.
Sure.
AI augmented creativity. What exactly does that mean?
It's a really cool concept.
Yeah.
Basically, it's about using AI to, boost human creativity.
Okay.
Not replace it, but enhance it.
So how does RAG fit into that?
Well, our RAG gives AI access to this, massive amount of information, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got factual data, historical examples, even artistic styles.
So it's like giving an artist unlimited inspiration.
Exactly. It's like giving them access to every color, every brushstroke, every technique that's ever been used.
That's a pretty powerful tool.
It is.
So what could we do with that? What would that look like in practice?
Well, imagine an architect, right?
Okay.
They're designing a building.
Mm-hmm.
They could use an AI tool that's powered by RAG.
Okay.
And this tool could draw on a database of building materials, energy efficient techniques, local climate data.
Wow.
It could even factor in aesthetic considerations based on architectural styles and trends.
So it's helping the architect to create something that's both functional and beautiful.
Exactly.
And it's doing it by drawing on this massive pool of knowledge.
That's the power of AI augmented creativity.
It's taking the best of human creativity and combining it with the processing power of AI.
It's a really exciting area, and we're just starting to scratch the surface of what's possible.
It sounds like there's so much potential there.
There is. We've only just begun to explore what we can do with this technology.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the potential of R, but for people who are thinking about actually using it, individuals or organizations, what are some practical things they should consider?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, like we talked about earlier, the data itself.
Right. It all comes back to the data.
Yeah, the quality of the data, how relevant it is, how well it's organized. That's absolutely essential.
So before you even think about implementing R, you need to make sure your data is up to par.
Exactly. Yeah.
What else?
Choosing the right retrieval system is also really important.
Okay, so there's not just one system that works for everything.
Right. There are different approaches, and each one has its, strengths and weaknesses.
So how do you know which one to choose?
Well, it depends on, like, what kind of data you're working with, how complex the questions are that you're going to be asking.
Right, right.
And how quickly you need those answers.
Because we were talking about speed earlier and how that can be a challenge.
Exactly. So it's all about finding the right balance.
Okay, so there's definitely a lot to think about.
There is.
What about, like, skills? Are there any specific skills or expertise that would be helpful for someone who wants to work with RAG?
Definitely helps to have a good understanding of, AI fundamentals.
Okay, so, like, what kind of things?
Things like data science principles, natural language processing, that kind of stuff.
So it's not something you can just pick up overnight.
It does take some, technical expertise.
Right.
But the good news is there are more and more resources out there to help people learn.
Okay, so there's a learning curve, but there's support available.
Exactly.
What else?
Don't forget about creativity.
Creativity. I wouldn't have thought of that as being a key element in working with AI.
It might seem surprising, but RAG is all about, enhancing human capabilities.
Right, not replacing them.
Exactly. The AI can handle the data processing, but it's still up to humans to ask the right questions, interpret the results, and, use those insights in a creative way.
So it's a partnership, then, between human and machine.
Exactly. You got it.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
I think we've given our listeners a pretty good overview of RAG, what it is, how it works, the benefits, the challenges, even what the future might hold.
Definitely a lot to think about.
Any final thoughts you want to leave us with?
I think the most important thing to remember is that a RAG is a really powerful tool.
Mm-hmm.
It has the potential to change so many aspects of our lives.
We've seen that already.
Right. It's not a magic solution to everything, but it's definitely a game changer.
Yeah.
And as with any powerful tool, we need to make sure we're using it thoughtfully, responsibly.
Couldn't agree more.
It's exciting and a little bit daunting at the same time.
It is, but that's the thing with technology, right?
Yeah.
It's always evolving. It's up to us to make sure we're using it for good.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, it's been a fascinating journey exploring this topic with you.
I agree.
Always a pleasure.
Likewise.
Until next time.